Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel if it isn't your first time here. Thank you for joining me, and first and foremost, I wanted to apologize for the late upload on this video. It is Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. right now, Eastern Time. We are an hour and a half away from game 4 between Edmonton and Dallas, and only now am I doing my post-game video for game 3. Just been super crammed recently. Didn't have the time to film the video right after the game ended, but tonight I should be good to do my game 4 preview once the game ends. So hopefully that one will get up reasonably quickly. I'm not going to take up too much of your time here. I don't really feel like, outside of a few things, I feel like there isn't a whole lot to talk about with this game. Um, Oilers win 6-1. They go up 2-1 in the series. The One of the big things that I think we need to talk about is the performance of Stuart Skinner. Skinner was absolutely phenomenal in this game. This is probably his best start of the entire playoffs, and maybe even the entire season, to be completely honest with you. And I know that might be a little bit crazy to say, considering he's had, I think, 3 shutouts. But I just think because he faced like 35 shots and had to make a lot of high danger saves, I think that kind of contributes to it being a better start than even the ones where he got a shutout, despite allowing a goal in Game 3. Now, one of the other things to mention, the crazy streak that he has been on has officially come to an end in these playoffs. As I've mentioned numerous times, he had either an 8.34 save percentage or lower, or a shutout, no in between. But he ends that streak with a 975, 973 save percentage on 1 goal allowed on, I believe, 35 shots against. So absolutely fantastic. As we look forward to game 4, which, like I said, is in just under 2 hours, Stuart Skinner has the best stats of literally any goalie ever in game 4s in NHL history. Now, it's a very small sample size, but it's still something that he just tends to be good in game 4s. So we're going to need that tonight, hopefully. But this isn't a pregame. We're talking about game 3 here. So yeah, Skinner was phenomenal. I would say definitely our best like all around player. But I thought of the forwards. I actually thought Ryan Nugent Hopkins had a really fantastic game, despite taking a bad run into the boards. But he had a really, really solid game. I liked a lot of what I saw out of him. Um, Obviously, there were a few things to talk about as far as missed calls go. Brett Kulak pretty clearly shot the puck out of the defensive zone, which would typically be a delay of game penalty, but he kind of got away with murder on that one. And not only did they not call it a penalty and give Dallas a power play, but within the span of time that Dallas would have been on the power play in the event that they didn't score a goal, Edmonton scored 2 goals. So I'm pretty sure it was in a span of like 36 seconds. So I think it was a total of 46 seconds after the initial what should have been a penalty. Edmonton managed to score 2 goals. And that's really, really unfortunate if you're Dallas. But at the same, like, you can be as mad as you want about the refs failing to make that call and the refs not giving you the power play opportunity. But at the same time, you can't just fall asleep because you didn't get a call your way. You know what I mean? Like that second goal, and I'm going to put them all up on the screen eventually. But that second goal by the first, which was Connor McDavid's first of the game, a 3-on-1. You can't just allow a 3-on-1 to occur in the neutral zone. It just is. It's something you can't allow, especially when you're playing a team as dangerous as the Edmonton Oilers. So that's inexcusable, regardless of whether or not you were supposed to be on the power play. Um, but before we get into the goals, there was that, and then there was also the Alex Petrovic hit on Connor Brown, which I kind of think maybe was a slightly high hit. Connor Brown has been injured. He will not play in game 4 tonight. Arvidsson is slotting back in for him. Um, but yeah, I thought Petrovic left his feet, and I thought it was a little bit of head contact, but it is what it is. You kind of have to move on, and I don't really think Oilers fans have all that much to complain about as far as a player getting hurt, considering Rope Hintz got injured in game two. He didn't play game three, which is another thing to talk about. It'll be interesting to see if he plays game four, but he was a game time decision, and it's just kind of interesting because, the way he looked on the ice after getting slashed and the way that Dallas fans were talking about it, the incident on, social media, you would have thought the guy was dead or had his leg amputated. The fact that he was even willing to be a game time decision, I just think goes to show that like the guy clearly wasn't nearly as injured as we thought he was. Um, Regardless, though, I'm still wishing him all the best, and it's possible we see him back in the lineup for tonight's game. Now for the goals. So as I said, the first two goals Edmonton scored, they should have been killing a penalty. They got lucky, they got away with one, and they capitalized on it. One of the other important things is, yes, part of, hockey is lucky bounces, and sometimes it's luck going your way, but at the same time you need to capitalize on those opportunities and on those moments, and Edmonton did that. The first goal was scored by Evan Bouchard, which I believe would be his sixth of the playoffs. I do want to double check that just to make sure that I'm not losing my mind, but I'm 95% sure it's his sixth of the playoffs. Maybe it's his fifth. We're gonna double check that right now. Sixth, I was right. Yeah, his sixth goal of the playoffs so far. Yeah, his fifth was the first goal he scored against Dallas in game one. Um, and I don't know if you guys can hear any noise above me. Um, if you can, I apologize. I have noise cancellation on this mic. I think it's okay, but if there's anything you can hear on the floor above me, I apologize for that. But yeah, Bouchard gets his sixth, assisted by Nuge and Kulak. Just a drop feed by Nuge that is one timed in, and that's the Bouch bomb. It's patented. It's his thing. And then, like I said, 36 seconds later, Connor McDavid scores on a 3-on-1 opportunity, assisted by Hyman and Nugent Hopkins. Um, this was a great play. Again, a play you can't allow to happen. You can't allow a 3-on-1 to materialize in the neutral zone, especially when it's going to involve Connor McDavid. Probably not the best thing to do if you're trying to win a hockey game. Um, and after that, like right then and there, I kind of felt like Dallas was dead in the water. Even though there was still so much hockey to play, like that is such a back-breaking thing to happen to, go from what you think you're going to get a power play to then getting scored on twice within that time frame. It's just not fun. Um, and then continuing on with the Edmonton goals, we'll skip over the Dallas goal for a second. Connor McDavid gets his second of the game, his fifth of the playoffs, with only 19 seconds left in the second period. Now, this was a huge goal because Dallas really turned on the gas in that second period. They were hounding pucks down after they got their first goal. And, even before they scored that first goal, they were all over the play. And then that last 10 minutes of the period, where they did score their first goal. They scored their goal with, like, I think 4.5 minutes left in the second. They were all over Edmonton. And Stuart Skinner made a couple big saves, including a crazy good glove save on Matt Duchene. And that's kind of this. That's like the timely saves, timely goals thing. That glove save by Skinner is a great save. It's also a timely save. It's a save that keeps your team in the lead with not a lot of time left on the clock in the second period. That's the exact type of saves that Skinner wasn't making the first couple games of the playoffs, hence why I was getting so mad at Skinner. But he makes the save in this game, and it pays off because not only does he keep us up 2-1, but then a few minutes after that, Connor McDavid snipes one home to make it a 3-1 game going right into the third period. And that is a huge, huge, huge thing to have happen, especially when Dallas has had so much of the momentum. Like, that is such a killing goal to allow if you're the Dallas Stars. Um, and then into the third period, Hyman scores a breakaway, beautiful snipe. Again, Dallas losing a guy completely. I don't know how Hyman finds himself alone all the way at the opposing blue line. And then Hyman gets another one almost 10 minutes later off of a fantastic saucer feed from Evander Kane. Kane looking like Sid the Kid or something on that play was spectacular. And then John Klingberg scores a power play goal late in the game just to rub some salt in the wound. Former Dallas star and his first of the playoffs. So with Klingberg scoring, I believe that means Troy Stecher is the only defenseman left on the Oilers that has yet to score a goal in these playoffs. Obviously, Ty Emberson didn't score as well, but he hasn't been in the lineup recently. And then Ekholm in the event when he comes back, he also won't have one. But But yeah, Hyman had 3 points. Nuge had 3 points. McDavid had just two. Yeah, just two. Kane had 3 points. So it was just a great night all around for so many different players. Um, Ottinger with the 750 save percentage. You'd like to think he's going to have at least somewhat of a bounce back game. Doesn't necessarily mean that Dallas is going to get the win, but you got to hope that he won't play as bad as he did in that game. And like I said, and the shots were 34 to 24, not 35 to 24. But yeah, like I thought that Edmonton played a really solid game. I do think that this was the best game Dallas has put together in the series so far, which is all the more reason to be a little bit upset that you couldn't get that win. And not only not get the win, but be decimated 6-1 despite putting together a really solid effort. And then for Dallas's one goal, it was Rantanen up to Bichel. He shoots it, and it goes through Skinner's 5 hole. At first, I think everyone kind of thought the shot was just beat Skinner straight up, but it did actually deflect off of Jason Robertson, so he gets his first goal of the playoffs. But it's not really the same thing as actually ripping one home when you're trying to break a goal scoring slouch to get one to tip off of your foot or your knee or wherever it hit him. But it's still a goal, and maybe that helps Robertson wake up a little bit moving forward in this series. But yeah, Skinner with a solid game, and for that to be the only goal he allowed, you can't complain in the slightest. Um, but overall, I was really happy with the way Edmonton played. I thought they put together a really solid effort. Hopefully, they can continue to bring that into Game 4 tonight. Obviously, the games are only going to continue to get tougher because there's going to be more desperation from Dallas to get back in the series and get those wins. Um, and the Oilers need to match that intensity and match that desperation. Um, I look at this. I would like to think Edmonton looks at this as the same similar opportunity to what game uh, sorry, what the series against Vegas. You were up 2-0, which is a bit different. You were down 1-0 to Dallas, but you're up 2-0. You go up 2-1 after Vegas wins game 3, and then you win two straight to close it off. Now, I'm not saying I think Edmonton's going to win the series in 5 games, but it's a similar sort of mentality. You know that the team is going to start to get a bit more desperate and urgent, and you need to match that and play up to that. Um, and I do think Edmonton's capable of it. I mean, they've looked extremely motivated pretty much all playoffs since going down 2-0 to LA, and that hasn't wavered. So you like to think it's going to continue. Obviously, things happen, but yeah, we will. Like I said, I will more than likely be recording my post game video for game 4 right after the game is done. That's the idea, at least. So hopefully that'll be out tomorrow morning. Thank you guys for joining me and watching. If you had any other thoughts, anything that I missed talking about from the game, let me know in the comments down below. And I will catch all of you guys in the next one.